look at what I'm doing. I'm going to go through it, look at what I'm doing, and then at the end of it, I'm going to give you a chance to actually attempt it for yourselves, okay? So at this point in time, if you have your computer up and running, then you can do, follow me as I go along. But if you are not there yet, just pay attention to what I'm doing, all right? So, once you create an app, once you create the application, the first thing you want to do is what? For those persons who have been here before, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to test it to make sure that it works. Okay? So, to run the program, you're going to go to where you have this play button. And you're going to click on that play button. If you notice it says Google Chrome, so it's going to literally run the program inside of Google because it's a web application. Okay? So again, you're going to give it some time to come up and to see if it actually works, right? So you do not write a single line of code until when? Until when? Until when you have what? Run the program, test it, and make sure that it's working. Okay? If it doesn't work, it means that the application was not created properly, and you need to recreate it. Do you understand? Make sense? So step one, you create the project, and you test it by running it. Now it's running, and the reason why I know it's running because I'm seeing here the application name, which is a home page. I can go to About, I can go to Contact, right? So this is all there is to it. Okay? Now, I'm going to now add another page. Okay? So call it that we have 3 pages. The home page, the About page, and the Contact page. Alright? Now, I'm going to add another page. Right? But, for this week, and for persons who have been here, I want to organize my application in a way that you can follow it better. So I'm not going to throw all my files here, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create what is known as a solution folder, right? I've never mentioned that before, right guys? Solution folder. So solution folders are what you use to organize your files in your project. Okay? So for this solution folder, I'm going to actually name it, let me see now. I right click on the solution. No, well, I'm going to click on the application itself, which is Calculator app. And I'm going to add, what do you call a folder. Oh, it's running. So, alright, so you have to stop it from running. Yes, so remember that. So you stop it from running by clicking on that red button that you saw there. Alright? And you're going to right click on the name of the project. You're going to click add. And then you're going to say new folder. Okay? Now, this folder, I'm going to name it Web Forms. Okay? I'm going to name this folder Web Forms, right? And I'm going to put all my web forms inside of this folder. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my About ASPX. I'm going to grab my Contact ASPX. I'm going to grab my Global, my Default ASPX. How did I do that? I held down the Control key on the keyboard while clicking each one of those web forms. Okay? Now that I have selected all of them, regular cut and paste or copy and paste, but in this case I want to move them to the folder that named web forms. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say cut. And then on my web forms I'm going to right click again and I'm going to say paste. Okay? And it will now move all those forms inside my web forms folder. So instead of actually having all those forms scattered all over the place with all the other files, I want to separate my web forms, to be by themselves, right? Now, I'm going to now create a new form. But before I create a new form, I want us to look at what is known as the site master. Okay? Now, for those persons who have been here before, you know that the site master is which file again? Anybody remember? Huh?
The master page?
Well, it's actually the master page. Thank you very much. So it's a master page, right? And the master page is that template from which all other pages are built. Okay? So there are certain things in the master page that all the other pages need. So instead of actually adding them to each page, you put them in the master page, and then when the other pages would have inherited from the master page, then it automatically would inherit those features, right? So for example, the menu, right, where you saw home, about, and contact, we don't need to have that on every page, right? So we put that in the master page. Now I want to add another menu option called calculator. Okay, so I'm going to open my site master, and in my site master I'm going to go down to my navigation code, and I'm going to copy this line, copy that line, and I'm going to now do that. Okay, now I must point out something to you that we could run into a little problem, because I moved the files from where they were to web forms. So what could now happen is that my site master will attempt to reference these files in the local folder, or where they were in the root folder, and realize it can't find them, right? And you'll run into error. I saw a hand. You got a question? All right. So what I will have to do is, let me change this first of all to calculator. So notice that we have code already. Very important. We already have code. So all we need to do is to go in, look at those code, and if we see that we need to do something similar, like add another line, we copy, paste, and change it. So I'm going to change this to calculator. Alright? I'm going to change that to calculator. Right? And I'm going to also change this to what? Same thing. Calculator. Right? Now, bear in mind, I do not yet create the calculator file or form. So if I attempt to run this, I'm going to run into problem. That's one. Two, because I actually moved these files, I now need to actually use reference web forms. Now, the default page is actually, we're here. So I'm going to now need to change this to web forms. Right? Let me see if everybody understands what I'm doing. I've created a new folder called web forms. I've moved all my web forms into that folder rather. Now, in order for me to access those files, I now need to do what? Include the name of that folder in my reference here. What you see, href, it means that it has to reference these files directly. So I need to now include web forms inside my what? My navigation code. Okay? Now, so here where I have about, I'm going to also name this web forms. I'm going to put web forms / okay? And I have to do the same for here. Now, again, you don't need to be typing it all over and over. You just need to copy and paste. Just need to copy and paste, okay? And you should be good to go. All right? Yes.
Why are you putting the slashes after the web forms?
Okay, after that tilde thing. Okay, so the slash is how we actually separate different folders whenever we are making reference to a file. So for example, a folder structure is kind of hierarchical, right? Like in an hierarchy, or it's like, for example, you can have a folder inside of a folder inside of a folder, right? Now this thing here represents the root of your website. So whenever you see that thing, it means that that's the root of your website. All other folders inside of your website must be referenced directly. Okay, make sense, everybody? Does that make sense? So all other folder inside of your website must be referenced directly if you're going to access those files. All right? So that's the reason. So in order to reference those folders, we use slash to separate the different folders, right? Inside this line of code. Now, the reason why you do not see anything where we have home is that the default .aspx is considered, as the name suggests, the default web form that will be run or will be executed. And as a result of that, we don't need to reference it directly. Okay? But we can actually do this. We can actually say slash default, and that would still be good. Okay? So let me save that, and we're going to test it again. Yes.
Is it case sensitive for the folder name?
Okay, so it's not supposed to be case sensitive because we are working with Microsoft, but please do practice to write your code as if it's case sensitive, because the language of C# is case sensitive. But HTML is not normally case sensitive. But practice case sensitivity, so to speak.
Because your folder name has a capital F for forms.
Okay, all right. So that's important. Thank you very much. So if my folder name has a capital F for forms, then I have to do one of two things. Either I'm going to change the name of the folder, or I'm going to change the name here. Right? Honestly, I like to do it the easy way. So I'm going to change the name of the folder, since instead of that I would have to go and change all of that. So I'm going to right click again. So I'm doing everything so you can see different things happen, right? So to rename a folder name, you simply right click on it just like any other Microsoft stuff, and you can just now change the F to Command F, press your enter key, and you're good to go. Alright, so it's now web forms. Thank you very much that's for that. Alright, so that's that. Alright, now let's run this program again and see what happened. We're going to see if what we have changed work again. Every time you change something, there is always a possibility of creating some errors or making some mistake. That's programming. Programming is about trying different things and testing it immediately after you try it to see if it works. Okay? Alright? Now, I am seeing this screen here popping up. I'm not sure why, but then, hence my point a while ago. So let me close that. I'm going to go inside here. I'm going to right click on the about.aspx, and I'm going to say set as start page. So that may have been the reason why I got that error. It couldn't find the start page where it was supposed to be. Again, if I see where it's going to take up too much of my time, I just copy back that start page back to where it was. But let me click set as start page here, and I'm going to run it again. Alright? See what will happen. See if my program will work. Again, my site master, it could also have a problem referencing the site master in its location, so that could also be another problem. So once you make any changes, you have to start thinking about the different things that could happen, that could go wrong. Alright? Now, it comes up this time. Alright? If I click home, works, about works, contact work, calculator, will it work?
Yes.
Will calculator work?
No.
Why do you think it will not work? Huh? I've not yet created a calculator page, right? I just set it up there, right? So if I click calculator, it should not work. I'm going to get a 404 error, which means not found. By the way, take note of these error codes, okay? They are for real, all right? Later on, you're going to have to be recognizing these error codes.